I was kind of like developing a slight affinity for it, but I never thought, I can make this my career or my lifelong passion. Leo is very dear to my heart because I see the work that we do and the impact that we do on the lives of students. It was kind of a dream of mine to eventually end up working at Adobe because they are the ones that make the product. And that's, the opportunity presented itself earlier this year. And I've been here for about 5 months, I believe. And it's been amazing.
Hello, my name is Diana Shar. Welcome to Dialogue. Today my guest is Ahmed Musallam, founding member of Leonard Education. He was born in Gaza and decided to dedicate his education to the field of IT. Today, at the age of 28, he is an expert in this field and currently working in a well-known company, Adobe. Hello, Ahmed. Thank you very much for finding time for this dialogue. Nice to meet you, even though we are far away, because I'm in Amsterdam and I know you are in the USA, correct?
Yes, I'm in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah. I know that you were born in Gaza, and then
Right.
when did you realize what do you really want to do in your life? When did you realize that you want to connect yourself, for example, with the field of IT?
It's been a passion of mine since I was a child. My uncle owned a little computer repair shop, and I'd go in there and help sometimes. I always had a computer from when I was young, and when I was a kid, played video games, dabbled here and there, was on the internet. I was kind of like developing a slight affinity for it, but I never thought, I can make this my career or my lifelong passion. It wasn't until I came here that I studied. So I started as a physics major. Then I took some computer science classes. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And I just switched my major to computer science. I think my second year in college, and just ran away with that. And now it's I would not rather be doing anything else.
And how did you come to the USA? I mean, how did you come to the idea to go and study there?
So I came through a program that is very similar to Leo, to the U.S., meaning I applied through a nonprofit organization back home in Gaza. They helped me kind of put all of my papers together with my application, TOEFL, SAT, all of that, and then that's how I ended up in the U.S. But I never thought I really would end up here. It wasn't something I have ever thought about. I was taking some English courses back home, and then they kind of mentioned there was the scholarship that you would be a good fit for. You should apply, and I ended up applying, but really ended up applying last minute because I didn't think this was a plan for me. I didn't think this was going to happen. And then it became real, and it became even more real once I realized my family's financial situation and not being able to go to college, or maybe my family would have gone in debt if I went to college. So this became a very real option, having a full scholarship to an American university, to come here, have more opportunity. So that's when it really hit me that this would be a viable option. This should be my future, and I should push for this as hard as I can.
What did impress you the most when you came to the USA? Because I can imagine that it is different. It's another culture and it's completely different town. I mean, like the towns are different, everything.
Just coming from Gaza, the thing that impressed me the most, at first impression at least, is the infrastructure, and I guess I was kind of enamored by everything as soon as I landed at the airport and looking at this whole new, different world with these huge buildings and these nice looking streets and lawns and so on and so forth. That things that I really didn't see much of back home. And so that was kind of, like I said, at first glance, I was kind of in awe of how this whole sort of system works, if that makes any sense.
And so I heard that you were very active in the campus, and you even managed to invite Dalai Lama there. So how was this
Oh,
meeting? Did
that's
you
great.
meet him in person?
For a very brief few minutes actually. So I was working with this nonprofit on campus called the Nobel Peace Prize Forum, and they put on an annual event that brings in previous Nobel laureates to campus, or Nobel Peace Prize laureates to be specific, to campus to talk to students, have kind of discussion, and then there will be breakout sessions and so on. It's a 3-day event or 3 or 4 day event typically, and the center of it is really talks about peace and the Peace Prize. And so one of those years I was working there, I was the program coordinator, and we had the Dalai Lama scheduled to come speak. Now, that was a very interesting thing because I think he was one of the most high profile people we've had, aside from Jimmy Carter, I think, one year. And the security around him and the logistics and all of that was intense. And he went out and gave his speech and talked to the audience. I was sitting backstage. And once he was done with his talk, he came backstage and walked by us. And we were all sort of intimidated just because he was walking by and he had his security guards and all of that. And he was walking out and he looked at us and said, "Come." And so it was like, I think 4 or 5 of us that came. We shook his hand. We maybe like talked for a few seconds. And then he stayed and talked to us for a little bit as a group, and then left.
No,
Yeah,
that's a
so
great.
that was very cool. Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah. And what do you think, like in general, now looking back, the education that you got since you arrived to the USA, was it helpful in your job that you're doing now? Or is more like, I can imagine it's theory and practicing, right? But like, are you happy with your choice that you made back then?
I am definitely happy with the choice I made and the career that I've chosen. Like I said, it's my passion. The It's an interesting question whether my education really helped with my career or not. But I will tell you this: the field of IT is ever so evolving, and what you learn in school is sometimes different what you end up doing. So my degree, compared to what I do right now for my job, it was mere basics. It was kind of like the stepping stones to get where I am today. But the rest of it really came with experience. So I worked in consulting. I still work in consulting since I graduated in 2015. And consulting comes with a lot of learning and growth. You will end up inevitably doing things that you didn't think you would be doing. But I'm glad I made that choice. And my degree has definitely prepared me or taught me how to learn and how to be open-minded to different technologies, and kind of gave me the basics that I needed really to get started and take that further in my career.
And as far as I understand, you're working now in quite a well-known company, if I may say, right?
Right. That's
Adobe,
true.
yeah.
Yes. Yes, I do. I work for Adobe. I'm a consultant there.
Great. I think that's a great achievement, especially in your young age.
It's,
Yes.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. It's fantastic. So my field of, or my niche kind of IT work is on this thing called Adobe Experience Manager, which is a content management system. So it's a product that Adobe built, And I was working for, I worked for two consultancies before I joined Adobe, and I was kind of doing implementation work on that product for different customers, very well known brands and Fortune 500s in the US. Um, and it was kind of a dream of mine to eventually end up working at Adobe because they are the ones that make the product. And that's, the opportunity presented itself earlier this year. And I've been here for about 5 months, I believe. And it's been amazing so far.
If you would talk to a young Palestinian, I don't know, boy or girl, and would you encourage him or her to take this path, to go abroad, to study, and to take this risk? Because I can imagine that there are not only advantages, but also kind of hardship on the way, huh? Like going to another country.
Absolutely.
So what do you think was actually the most challenging on this path? And would you still encourage them to do that?
I think I would. Yes, I think I would. I think the quality, there are multiple components to why I would advise anybody to study abroad outside of their country of birth, whether it's back home or anywhere else. And the first one is you will definitely be outside of your comfort zone. It doesn't matter where you come from or who you are. If you live in a different country, you will be out of your comfort zone. Your tolerance and acceptance and kind of exposure will grow. And I think, and in the case of specifically us as Palestinians, I think the quality of education that you would get here, the career possibilities that opens for you is definitely, I think, the best incentive for you to do that. And obviously, it's not just as easy as saying it. You have to also be open-minded. You have to kind of experience those things and let that experience drive you as well. And it's a great learning opportunity. You will definitely grow on a personal level, career-wise, education-wise, and you will definitely have a lot more possibilities than you currently have as a Palestinian living back home.
Sure. And you're one of the founding members of Leonard Education. And well, why do you think this kind of organizations are needed? And what can you say special about this organization?
Absolutely. So Dia, the executive director, she gives me a lot of credit. But it's mostly her work. So she does most of the work, but she likes to give credit to us, the ones who've been around since the establishment of Leo. Leo is very dear to my heart because I see the work that we do and the impact that we do on the lives of students that are currently attending colleges and universities here in the US, back home, and in different countries. I think we have students in Egypt, we have students in Germany, we have students in the UK as well. So I see that impact, right? Like I've been through a similar program. I left home to go pursue an education somewhere different than my country. So I see the impact that has on students. I see their achievements. I talk to them. I meet some of them that came to study in Minnesota where I live. So I see that impact, right? And this is why we need an organization such as Leo. The other thing that is really special to me and I love about Leo is the personal relationship that the students have with Leo. She's always in contact with them. She's always helping them out, or at least seeing other students help existing students, or graduates, or people who've been through the program help other students who are going through it right now. And that's something I really haven't seen before. Typically, nonprofit or scholarships are, here's the scholarship, here's the money, and you're on your own from there, right? The school pays for your education, but you have to figure everything out for yourself. What's special about Leo is that, Leo is always there for the students, no matter what they're having, no matter what issues they're having. They always have access to Leah and other students to ask questions, to get clarification, to get connected. So the students are never on their own. They're always in communication. They always have their needs met. Um, and that's something I appreciate because I didn't really have that in my undergraduate experience. I was kind of mostly on my own, but I was able to figure it out. And I know some other students that were on their own. They had a scholarship, and you'd think, I don't know what else they could ask for. But if you don't follow up and if you're not with them the whole way there, you are in essence setting them up for failure,
Yeah.
right? So you have to be there. You have to help them. You have to guide them, and that's why I think Leo is very special.
I think that even me, once I met Dia and she spoke about Leo, this is the first thing what I mentioned is this personal touch that there is
Right.
for each student. This is incredible, and I think it makes it very special. And moreover, as I understand, as most of it's a non-profit, and so there is no office, there is no salary, but still, it's so
Right.
special that it's still possible that this organization can be so well organized, and still be active and doing things. Probably it means that it's done with a heart.
Yes, no, absolutely. I think so. I have regular calls with Dia where we talk about Leo or other things, and we just catch up. And it always amazes me how much she remembers about every single student. She always knows something. Like if I mention some college or some university or some student, she knows something about them. Oh, they just moved into their dorm, or they just started their internship that she helped them, obtain, or they were a graduate speaker, or whatever the case may be. She always knows what the students are up to and what they're doing.
Yeah. And what's your vision for Leo? Like, what do you think, like, maybe for the future?
I think I think Leo currently is a great success. I think, we're doing phenomenal, and I want that to continue. I want us to be able to impact lives of students on an ongoing basis, and I don't want this to stop, right? And I want it to continue to be as personal and as successful as it is, and I want it to continue to set up students for success and be with them the whole way there. So I think there's a lot of growth that we need, and I think that's coming. It's just going to take time, but I think we're doing great, and I think we just keep on pushing, doing what we're doing now.
And if I may ask, because I mean, you're a great example, and I think this is so important in this kind of organizations because, there is nothing better than to see already someone who actually went through this path and who is there. And I
Right.
think this is something that is very motivating. But what do you think? What is your opinion? I know that we are living in a time when everything is changing, and for sure, IT is one of the most promising. It's already a very active field. What do you think? Which are the fields gonna be, let's say, in trend in the upcoming years for young people that are trying to make their choice? What is like your thoughts about it?
I think so. I ponder this question a lot about what a student should pick when they go to school, and it really depends on who they are and what their goal is, right? So you could certainly hop on a trend and be an IT professional, or there's a lot of sub branches of IT that you can go into, like machine learning and AI. But I think what matters most is following your heart and doing what you're passionate about. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of this cost benefit analysis, right? You don't want to end up in a field that you hate doing. You don't want to end up doing something you don't want to do, right? Because you have to. Um, Pick what you're most passionate about and drive that as far as you can. That's the goal. Admittedly, it'll be harder for certain professionals than others. Like if you are for example, working in IT, you are you are a lot more likely to find a job after graduation. It's just a question of whether you will enjoy doing that job after graduation, or maybe it's a means to an end so that you can get to do what you love to do, which could be something else like a hobby or drawing or something in arts, or whatever the case may be. So I think there are a lot of things that are trending that you can definitely look at and make it the driver for choosing a career. But at the same time, you have to also, you're going to be doing this for the rest of your life, right? You're going to be doing this. You're going to have probably like a 40-year career or something like that. So make it something that you enjoy. Make it something that you want to wake up every morning and do. That's really the
And I
point.
think it's a gift. What you told me, that like you realized quite early that you are very passionate about
Hmm.
this field, about the IT, and this is actually a
Right.
gift, because of course not everyone realize so early. Let's say that, okay, this is my, to
Right.
find your, where your heart, stays for. This is also challenging to some
Hmm.
people, but I totally agree with you that you should love what you
Absolutely.
do. I mean, it's important to have the
Yeah.
basic knowledge, even if you don't know what exactly you want, but it's so
Hmm.
important to find your
Right.
path and your way. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I think the other important thing to keep in mind is that if you are fortunate enough to have an education in the US in a liberal arts college, you will have time to pick your major. So you will have a chance to take classes. So for example, I was tech savvy, but I wouldn't. When I started college, I was tech savvy, but I wouldn't call myself a. I didn't learn how to code, for example. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know how to do any of the things that I do for my job today, and I was kind of intimidated uh, by IT because I thought, oh, coding is going to be difficult, and I probably don't want to do that, and it's going to be challenging. I mean, I know my way around computers and computer parts and so on and so forth, but that might be challenging. And first, the just the mere fact that there was a chance for me to try a computer science class,
Mm.
right, is what helped me decide, okay, this I want to do this, because I took that class and I was like, well, this is not bad. I can do this.
Yeah.
It's pretty like it's exciting and I enjoy doing it. So why not, keep doing it. And at the same time, I was a physics major and I was taking I took for 2 semesters, I took 2 physics courses. I was doing okay, but I was struggling,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I when I looked at the two, I figure, if I was struggling doing physics and I'm not enjoying this, and I'm taking this other computer science class and I'm enjoying that, so I might as well, go do something that I enjoy doing and I'm actually good at and more likely to succeed in, right? So that really is a very important point, is you can change. You have to be open-minded, take these classes, don't be intimidated by something just because you think you are not good at it. Take the class, try it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you've added another class to your credits.
Sure. And what, talking about you, what are your main goals now?
um that's an interesting question. I so my goal career wise is to grow what I'm doing right now. So currently I am a consultant. So my primarily daily job is typically leading teams of developers, or actually doing active development or software development myself. Eventually in my career, I hope to reach an architect level or a managerial level, but that's not anytime soon, because I enjoy kind of being or doing the day-to-day development work. On a personal level, I have my daughter who's going to be turning 5 in September. So, taking care of her is a lot of work. Uh, so that's another goal of mine. I think in the next few years, I'm hoping to also support Leo in a much more capacity than I currently do. Now that my daughter is older and I have a little more spare time, even though this year has been crazy and last year also with COVID and everything. Um, but yeah, I think for me, I'm very career oriented. So I love what I do, and I wake up every morning enjoying it. And so I'd like to continue doing that and carry that as far as I can.
Thank you very much. I think your story is very inspiring, and I hope that some young people, when they watch this video, they're gonna get their motivation just to do it. So, I wish you, of course, a lot of luck, and in your career to continue and to grow. And yeah, thank you very much. It was really, really interesting and inspiring.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.